Welcome to Real Estate No-Co Minute. Finally, a real estate podcast bridging the gap between different cultures and helping you create the lifestyle you're looking for in Northern Colorado. And now your trusted real estate advisor, Martine Bonhauer.
Have you recently moved to the USA looking for your dream life? Maybe you had the chance to be relocated. And now the biggest challenge is to find a new house in this crazy situation. Not only is it challenging to find your dream home, but to be qualified for a loan as a foreign national. There is a solution for you. There are several relocation loans available in the United States market, but not all of them will work for your specific situation. Here in Northern Colorado, we have the chance to have an amazing credit union that was created in the 50s to help HP employees worldwide to be relocated. This in-house bank was transformed into a credit union and has expanded its operation to support many other companies. In this podcast, we will be talking to John Beranich, who is the mortgage loan officer at First Tech. John has been working in the mortgage industry for over 20 years. During that time, he has enjoyed helping countless clients with their home loan needs. John has been helping many foreign nationals from all over the world: France, Germany, Italy, Israel, Hong Kong, Brazil, and soon Germany. On the personal side, John moved to Colorado in '96 and is enjoying all the outdoors activities Colorado is offering. Welcome to our podcast, John Beranich.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that nice introduction.
I am familiar with buying a home in the US as a foreign national, as John calls us. Back in 2002, my husband was relocated from France to Fort Collins, and we were approved for a loan to purchase a home, even being new in the United States and without a credit score. We did it. You can do it. So, John, first, can you tell us everything about First Tech Credit Union, their story?
Well, of course, to build on what you had already said, we've been in existence since the early 1950s, so we've been around a long time. A little over 25 years ago, we were approached by HP and asked if we could facilitate providing some home loan mortgage services for expat transferees that were coming in to work for HP from other countries. And we put together a program that is unique. No one else can do it exactly the way we do it. It's proprietary to First Tech, and it's been a very successful program, and it making for an easy transition for folks coming over into this new culture of the US.
What you are saying is super important, John, because First Tech has also a mission to help international people to buy a home in the United States and start their new life here. In the USA, you need to have a good credit score to be approved for a loan. But if you are coming from another country, you don't have a way to prove that you are qualified for a loan. How should a foreign national proceed, John? What is the number one challenge to getting a loan?
Well, I think, as you had mentioned, the number one challenge is the fact that foreign nationals, when they come in, they don't have a U.S. credit score or any U.S. credit established. And you need to have that credit established to be able to do most any type of credit situation in the U.S. And so what we do is we will provide the home loan and actually assign a very high credit score to be able to facilitate doing that home loan, as long as they fit some of the basic criteria of our program. One is, they have to have the proper visa. There's a lot of different types of visas, and actually the majority of them are acceptable for the program, but there are some that are not, like a student visa, for instance, or a diplomatic visa is not. But from there, they just need to have the funds needed to complete the transaction. And so we need to have those in the US. We need things like their offer letter for their new job. We need to have, I already mentioned the visa. We need to have the asset statements, and those assets can be initially, they can be in their home country. We just need to get statements and translate them into something our underwriters can understand, into English, and then their relocation benefits, to see that the company is providing them with some sort of relocation benefits to come over.
Okay, so can you explain the process? So if I am arriving here, I have a new job, I have been transferred by a corporation, and I don't want to rent for very long, I want to buy a home. So how should I proceed? What should I do? Can you explain the process?
Oh, absolutely. It's actually very easy. So we have an online application. So the transferee would contact me, and I would email them a link to our online application. I can help coach them through that application because it's going to be different. It's something they've never experienced before here in the US, of course. And so I'll explain through that. Once we have the application, I'll request the different documentation that we spoke of earlier, and there will be a secure loan portal where, when I make that request in an email, they can click on this link and then safely and securely upload those personal and confidential documentation that I'm asking for into the system. Once we have that, I go through everything and I submit it to our underwriting to get an actual pre-approval, so that once they have that pre-approval, they're able to then make an offer on a home.
Okay, so I always heard that the biggest challenge for foreign nationals coming from Europe or from South America is the down payment.
Yeah, I mean, down payment is always an issue for anybody purchasing a home. And the minimum requirements for our program is they have to have 10% of the sales price of the home that they're looking for. And of course, I'll help them determine what that sales price is during the qualifying purposes from their offer letter, what they're getting paid. Then I can pretty much work out what their maximum amount that they can afford payment-wise. And then from there, we work into, okay, how much money do they actually need to bring over to facilitate the transaction? So basically it's your 10% down. It's the amount of closing costs and prepaids that are associated with closing the transaction. And then we need 6 months of the total estimated principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, which makes up their full total payment of reserves in a U.S. bank at the time of closing.
Okay, so I always heard that the 6 months reserve is an issue for some of the transferees coming from a foreign country. It can be, depending on the sales price, a huge amount of money from them. So what can you say about this 6 months reserve?
Yeah, so one, the 6 months reserve is it is a requirement, and sometimes that total cash needed to get the transaction approved to be able to close, they may be able to afford more with their income that they're earning than what they can actually purchase because of not having the funds available that are needed for the final approval. So, that's something that in our discussions as we're talking, we work out those numbers and figure out a way for them.
They need to have that amount available in a US account here before closing. And then my understanding is that they can spend it right after closing.
Correct. So to get the loan approved, we need to show all of the funds that we spoke about, the 10% down, the closing costs, the 6 months reserves. To get that loan approved, we need to show that in a US bank. Okay. Now, and then whenever the closing is, once they actually sign their paperwork to purchase that new home and to sign the paperwork for closing the loan itself, that 6 months reserve is not held up at all. So they can use that from minute one after they close to maybe they want to purchase some furniture. Maybe they want to do some, buy curtains, who knows? Or they just want to put it back in their bank back home. They certainly have that ability to do.
We understand that the biggest challenge for foreign nationals when they come here and want to buy a home is the down payment and those 6 months reserve. You always tell me, John, I need the employment letter for your buyer. If you don't know about the employment letter, probably the company has issued one for you to get the visa. John, can you tell us how important in the process the employment letter is?
So it's really the first step. Once I make contact and meet the folks, virtually over the phone, Zoom call, whatever it takes. Once we have our initial conversation and I kind of discuss what we're talking about now, to reiterate all the things, information that we're providing on this podcast, I will request their initial offer letter, their employment offer letter, because that's going to tell me a lot of different things, mainly, what their income is, so that I can back into the amount that they can qualify based on their income. But as we just spoke about, the next step would be then, once we establish that, is backing into how much they need for potential down payment and the money that they need. So we have those conversations early so that they can think about, okay, this is potentially how much I need. Now, how am I going to move that money over? And some of the largest obstacle, for lack of a better word, is when they're transferring money to the US, the exchange rate, and that exchange rate sometimes it hurts them, or even, the amount of potentially taxes that they have to pay or other fees they have to pay in their home country when they transfer money out. So we have those discussions.
Great. When you arrive in the United States, you have so much to learn to create a new life in this country. Getting your dream home where you will feel comfortable and at home. Creating that new life is challenging, especially nowadays with the economic situation. You are not alone. You have experts who can help you. John can help you to get a loan, and I can help you create a new lifestyle in Northern Colorado by getting, first of all, a new home that fits your needs and explain you all the process and everything you need to know. You can call me, text me, email me. All my contact information and John's contact information are going to be on the description of this podcast. Thank you for your partnership, John.
Of course, Martine, it's been a pleasure working with you over the past 6 years. For fact that you had gone through the process yourself, you really do a great job of educating these foreign nationals as they come in, so that they know and understand what they're getting into, and then what to expect. You go way beyond what a lot of realtors do and services you provide.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to work with you. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate No-Co Minute. To hear past and future episodes, please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast channel. We appreciate your reviews and suggestions for future show topics. If you have any questions or a suggestion, please write to us at podcast@realestatenoco.com. For more real estate information, go to our website, www.realestatenoco.com.